tell us when they approach these stations, shoot them and you'll defend us. I'm telling you the whole truth, you are a liar. You have lied. You will not protect me. All that you will protect it is your interest. You will not protect me. I will be sacrificed in court before a judge and I will be sentenced to prison. What happened to Katito? He was sung as a hero. But finally, the determination of the court came out. You are not justifiable to kill even a criminal. What are you supposed to do? If you are within the late positions of arrest, present that person before the court of law. I say no to police brutality. I say no more to killings. I can't kill my brother. I can't kill my sister. You are saying this because your children are not on the streets, right? You are saying this because your cousins are not on the streets. You are saying this because your brother or your sister is not on the street. You are saying this that they should be killed when they approach those stations where they are supposed to be protected, because there is nobody of your family who will be on those streets. I am very sorry, Kenyans. If these are the kind of readers we have, then I believe we have a problem of incompetency. We are very sorry about that. How will I go back to my children and tell them their mother is normal, or their father is normal, or their cousin is normal? It's because they were shot dead demonstrating and asking the government to hear their cry. Kenyans, we love you. Every OCS and every OSPD and ever we are, have seen people doing great work. Please, if they approach our gates, let...
Greetings all. Greetings. Look at the sky today. Today I had a plan. The birds are attacking the monkey. The monkeys in Barbados are like people. Oh, anyway. Yeah, I had a plan for the day, but then something interrupted that plan. The weather. But for me, it's beautiful anyway. The rain. And one of the people I admired in life is a guy called Dennis Brown. Brother knew how to make music. He came up in an age where, Jamaica produced some radical music. And that music caused the death of Bob Marley, because though the others were spreading across the world, yep, monkey there. He's watching me and I'm watching him. But his music was causing a change in the mental state of people everywhere, even Caucasian. But if most of you those of you who are watching, I shouldn't say most of you, those of you who are watching Africa, saw the effect it had on Africans. And there are other people who are watching that. First they kill him. People will say, no, he died. Okay. You have your opinion, and I have mine. And then there was a guy in South Africa called Lucky Dube. And they say that he got killed because of a robbery. Listen to his music and Marley's music and tell me what you think. And he came up in Marley's music, and his career began a decade after Marley. When I say began, it took off. People who were looking for the same type of music that Marley was making, the same message from him. But adjusting to the world as it changes. You know, we as African descendants tend to want to hold on to this image some of us who grew up learning about Africa, and that it wasn't the whatever Trump called it. You know, we stop at the feet of historians, some from the Caribbean, some from Africa, many from the US. Some were expert in economics, you know, and can tell you what was going to happen down the road, but we weren't interested in what's going to happen down the road. That was for Caucasian people. And when the Caucasian offered us things, oh man, we gained something. No. But today's environment reminds me of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then 50 years earlier, in the 20s, 1910, 19... I keep telling you about cycles. After the war, they call it the Civil War in the U.S., they turned black people into slaves again. And then, 50 years later, we come to the so-called the marches and Martin Luther King. And those changes we come to today, where our children, the children of the 60s, they were the children of the sharecroppers, and then they were children of the 60s. I'm talking about black people now, Caucasians too, because what black people were going through has a distinct effect on young Caucasians. And today you're seeing the same thing happen. What African people are going through have a distinct effect on Caucasian children. Trump can't turn it around. It's too late. I mean, what black people, black educators, and there's still a few. There's a man called Fraser, Professor Fraser. Especially black women, especially don't like to hear him talk. But he can tell you what 20 years down the road is going to happen. Because he knew what 50 years ago, 100 years ago happened. And he knows the cycle. The same thing with the economy of the world. There's this cycle. And right now we're in one of those other cycles. People are getting shot now because the economic war is not working. And it's not working because the mindset that used to run the world is finding it difficult to continue doing it. But there are a few things that are happening I gotta tell you about. One, this economic war is having a ripple effect on the situation wherever you are. And I keep warning my brothers now, well, not keep warning, but I started warning my brothers. 3 years ago I was telling you that people are coming back to Africa. Now it's not they're coming back, they're back already. And the fight now is to work around them or either push them out like they did in AES or work around them. Like what's happening in Kenya, Gabon, Guinea. The leaders are trying to double down. But there's something else that's happening. The food supply that Africa used to depend on, that little bit of handouts, crumbs that used to come from Europe and America, the stuff that nobody else wanted to buy, and they wanted to pretend that they were doing something good in Africa. What's happening is that that's getting shut off too. I saw a program where this guy is explaining something. I knew about it before, and as a matter of fact, the guys that I was in the YouTube and the Black Brain Trust, if you go back and watch it, they used to talk about these things. It's called The Black Brain Trust. So we talk about economics and warfare and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things we talk about was what's going to happen to housing in America. What's going to happen to the economies of the world. And one of the things now that's happening is that when the U.S. attacked China, China retaliated. And one of the things that they used to retaliate was the food supply. And going to that food supply, we find corn, soybeans, beef, chicken, all of that. America used to supply to China. And China began to grow its own pigs and beef and all that. And what it couldn't grow itself, it started importing from others besides America. So American farmers started getting hurt. And then Trump came in and said, yeah, I'm going to tariff China and give the money to the farmers. It didn't work. what American farmers start doing is they start shipping. They talk about how Russia and Iran get around the oil by shipping the oil to different countries and then put it on the world market. But these guys are doing the same thing with soybeans and pork and beef and chicken. And the guy I was listening to, he's kind of like a professional. He's in the business of making money off these things. So he was explaining it. And some of what he explained I knew already. But the story behind it. You know, he took a shipment of soybean and showed how the U.S., when it got into the trade war with China, the farmers started losing. So what the plan they came up with, now everything in America is a commodity, remember that. And as a commodity, you got people from Wall Street, which is, you know who runs that business. It all passes through Israel. And the Zionists, England, what they call Fleet Street, not Fleet Street, the quarter mile, the money mile, the money quarter mile, New York, and there's other places too, but since the world don't know about it, I'm not going to name it here. Anyway, it's where they shuffle money, launder money. And these guys buy soybeans with all their drug money and stole diamond money. They buy soybeans and pork and all that, ship it to China and clean up the money. But this guy said there's this shipment that arrived in China. And the Chinese checked it to find it didn't come from Argentina, it came from the U.S. So this, the U.S. is rerouting these guys on Wall Street who bought the soybeans, because that's what they do. They buy it from the farmer as cheap as possible. Keep the farmer poor. You know. And right now they're trying to, like you see Bezos and all the other billionaires buying up farmland. That's to put out the little farmer, though, to keep control of it. But anyway, China is putting a roadblock in there that's keeping it, making them lose money, actually. So they try to ship the soybeans to Argentina and then on to China. China found out about it. All right. Morning. And China improved their testing process. And then they went on to create a tracking system using blockchain. Now, blockchain is like a tag. When a farmer grows soybean, he's issued a number. And that number follows his soybean wherever it goes in the world. They can track it back. Wherever that soybean is, like your bag. When you travel from, say, New York to Florida, from Florida to Argentina, your bag lists the stops that it's going to make and where it's going to. And every time your bags goes on an airplane, they tag it. You see a guy with a machine standing by the airplane saying, hey, this bag went on this airplane. When it comes off the airplane in Florida, when you transfer your flight, somebody's there doing the same thing. They're showing that the bag was there, and the bag left there, goes on another airplane, somebody's at the airplane going, that's what China did. So they tagged everything and put an end to that stop. Then America started shipping to Brazil. And they were getting caught. But I'm saying all this, I give you a story because They keep talking about African leaders, and they not noticing these things. These so-called African leaders, and you got Barbados leaders too. They see it's like they walking around blind, not seeing how the world is working. But instead of watching what's happening, say in the soybean or the cattle raising or pig raising, chicken raising, Africa's got enough land that they can get into these markets. China needs us. But these wicked people, instead of getting their people, their African brothers, invested in these markets, just like the U.S. government provides farmers with loans and all that to create export markets. These guys take the money and ship it off to London instead of investing it in these markets. When China knocks America out of the market, it's got to find somebody else to replace what they didn't take. Seeing this, African leaders should have stepped into the market, say, hey, we got all this land here. We ordered some plows, some equipment, some harvesters. Not the John Deere, because John Deere can shut those down. From America, you know. They run on GPS. And if you want to harm African farmers, all you got to do is shut down the operating system with GPS. Either you buy the harvesters or you make them. So you're creating manufacturing in your country. You're growing stuff in your country. You know, people will say, well, Barbados is small, but you see that coconut tree right there? You know how much coconut oil you can make from all the trees around here? Look at all the trees around here. And the soil in Barbados can make a kind of soaked coconut oil that Blue Mountain coffee makers make. It has its unique taste. So don't give me a story about that. Anyway, I know these things. African governments should be in the market. Now you see why, one of the reasons why I tell my brothers going to Africa, make sure you can feed yourself. The governments in Africa are making sure that their people can't feed themselves. And when you see what's happening right now in Togo, what's happening in Kenya, Cameroon, everywhere in Africa, Ukraine is giving Ouagadougou grain. And then they're infiltrating Africa with embassies. There's a story behind all these things too, and it's led by Israel. But I'm just trying to explain to you and show you that we should be involved in this. Africans should be involved in this. Building up the economies by selling to China what China wants. China wants a product. And if you had that product, they will sell it to you. Unless you're going to create a problem like what the United States did with the tariffs. Then China will say, you know, you don't want this problem. You don't want this problem. Especially if you don't want to sit down and talk about it. sensibly. Well, Africa was in the market for soybeans or beef. Guess what? There will be a significant drop in hunger and health and poor people in Africa. These people who come to power, like in Togo, and then do it till they die, even though they claim they're democratic. That's what it does to your life and the people in Africa. And there are people in Africa who put up with this, who accept it, silently until now. Cell phones have shown Africans what is possible. Wherever you do, make sure you're safe. Stay safe. Watch what's going on and make the adjustments. You see, like I started out this story talking about adjustment. Make that adjustment. Yesterday's video was, don't wait till the hurricane comes. When the hurricane comes, you're in trouble. Moving in the middle of a hurricane is, your life is in danger. If you move before the hurricane, you can sit back and watch the hurricane. It will go past you. Have a great day wherever you are. Peace.